Welcome to the Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom podcast with Cub Kuker. My name is Jacob Kuker, but my friends call me Cub, and you should too every day on the Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom podcast. We explore faith, spirituality, and the realms of paranormal. Today is no different. I've got a fantastic episode for you. We're going to be getting into the idea of Lucifer today, and not Lucifer as the devil, which is a complete fabrication. There is no connection between Lucifer and the devil. That is something that was really connected during the church age, and something that hopefully we can correct through mass awareness and through knowledge. Very, very, very important to kind of deconstruct these ideas that have been put upon us, that we try to tie Lucifer and Satan together. Again, not at all the same entity. Lucifer, the devil, whatever you want to try to tie it to, not what it is. So we are going to be deconstructing that today. And as always, I'm going to be reading from my new book here on the podcast. So I'm very excited to be doing that. You guys that joined today will get to hear actual excerpts from the new book. So I'm very, very excited to share that with you. Merle, what is up, my friend? Merle says, yo, what's going on? Kenny Mao, what's up, brother? How you doing? Cub and fam in the house, absolutely. Ashley Hester, welcome. Royal Butler, welcome. User 97, what's up? Maria Alexander, how you doing? Royal B, Amber Walker, Helen M, Debbie Height, hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It is an awesome day to be alive. It's a beautiful Monday, August 18th. Got about a month here, just a little over a month before the scheduled launch date of the new book. I have been riding up a storm, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys, followed by the release of all the courses that go with it, the ebook, the audiobook, the academy, and our continuation of our live sessions that we do every single Saturday, essentially every Saturday. We meet and in a more intimate group get to talk over Zoom and really deconstruct these ideas and talk about these things in a much deeper way and apply them to our personal lives. And that's where it really goes from, a book to the courses, to the academy, to the actual community behind this. The community is the Cub Kuker Supernatural community. We've been running that for many years now. And this new project is a perfect overlay to what we've been doing with that. So I'm very excited to get this project out. And it's more than a project, it really is my passion project. It really is something that I've been working towards for a very long time. And I'm just so excited to share with you guys. So without further ado, today, let's dive into Venus. We're going to be talking about Venus, Lucifer, Aphrodite, Phosphoros, Hesperos, Phosphoros, Hesperos, Hathor, Ishtar, the bright morning star, aka Lucifer. So I'm very excited to get into this. Both Lucifer and Christ are called the morning star. One fell seeking to outshine the sun. The other rose, reflecting it perfectly as the sun, thus proving his sonship. I can't talk today. I've been writing so much and just had my head in the computer. So trying to look at all the screens and read. I'm going to actually blow this up a little bit so I can read it easier. Both Lucifer and Christ are called the morning star. One fell seeking to outshine the sun. The other rose reflecting it perfectly as the sun, thus proving his sonship. And that tribute of the quote is to wisdom. So most of the quotes I do in this book are attributed to wisdom, because wisdom is universal. It's not some thing that is this or that. It is something that's experienced, something that's earned, not learned. And wisdom is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So the names of Venus: Roman in Latin is Venus. Greek is Aphrodite. Phosphoros, morning star, or Hesperos, evening star. Egyptian is Hathor. Babylonian, Ishtar. And then the mystic interpretation is the bright and morning star, or Lucifer. And I put that under the mystic interpretation because it's become kind of this anthropomorphized, deification of pride in this being Lucifer. And I hate to tell everyone, there's no objective being Lucifer. Okay. This is all esoteric. It's all about the mind and mastering yourself. And that's exactly what I teach. It's what I practice. It's what I believe Jesus himself was teaching and practicing. So Merle says something that just popped into my head. I figured I would share. What are your thoughts? Okay, how does this sound? We are the Jesus and the Christ consciousness. The ego is Satan and the Antichrist. Yep, exactly, brother. Exactly. And that's literally what I'm teaching in this book here, is that understanding. You're going to see today, too, as we get into this, why Jesus is the bright and morning star, but he's the evolved version of it. He's the other side of that coin, the flip side of the archetype. Rather than being prideful, he actually won the test against the ego or Satan or Saturn and was able to rise in his true divinity and prove that he is the self-realized Son of God. And I call Jesus in this self-realized Son of God because I believe that he woke up as God, not that he was born the incarnate of God, but that he became the avatar of God through self-awareness, through knowledge, through wisdom, and was awakened as the Christ. You don't have to agree with me on that. That's just what I personally believe. And that's why I call him the self-realized Christ, or Son of God. Lucifer was called only the morning star. Jesus was the bright and morning star. So that's actually not true. Lucifer was called bright and morning star because there's no direct translation between the Old Testament and the New Testament. You got to understand this is coming from Hebrew. We don't have the same words in Hebrew that we do in Greek, that we do in English, that we do in Latin. So we have to take the archetypes of this, and we can't argue semantics on that stuff and say Jesus is this objective version of it, and then Satan is this objective version of it. That is just not true. Logically, esoterically, etymologically, or any other sense of the terms when it comes to the mystic understanding. Now, you will find churches and you will find constructs that will argue that all day long, and that's fine. That's for them. That's not for me. That's not for this podcast. We're not religious here. We're open-minded, free-spirited, and very highly spiritual. And I follow the path of Jesus Christ, absolutely. But I have nothing to do with what the construct teaches around that. So Merle says that's an interesting concept on it. Cool. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Across civilizations, Venus has always been the paradox of heaven, both morning herald and evening mourner. Its brilliance at dawn earned its names like the morning star and evening star. The star, actually a planet that rises and falls, bringing both illumination and temptation. Venus is not merely a planet, but an esoteric archetype of polarity embodying love and rebellion. Venus was seen as the herald of change in the dawn, bearing witness to the light of day and the coming of evening. By the way, this archetype is played out beautifully in the archetype of the Silver Surfer. I think in the movie they were actually tying her to the moon, but I really think the Silver Surfer is more of Venus, the Luciferian awakened being, the one that is ultimately either the harbinger of doom, aka Galactus, Saturn, or the harbinger of the light of Christ, aka the baby that was born with healing powers, with the ability to change timelines, things like that. So not to spoil the movie or anything, but if you know Marvel lore, you've probably read the comic books and stuff like that. So to me, I think there's a definite connection to Silver Surfer and Lucifer, or Bright Morning Star, especially in the feminization of the Silver Surfer from the new movie. So I definitely caught heavy overtones of that, in my humble opinion. So Steven says, do I got to buy stars? I'm broke. Steven, first off, don't speak that over yourself, man. I wouldn't speak something so horribly over anybody. Ain't nobody broke, dude. You got the resources of the universe at your fingertips, man. Your mind is the only thing creating everything. So even to claim that, I don't even like to say that back to you, man. That's a curse on yourself, brother. You don't be saying that stuff in here. Come on, man. You don't got to do anything. You do what you will, okay? Do what thou wilt, right? You decide if you want to buy stars, decide if you want to buy my book, decide if you want to do nothing. That is totally up to you. I hope you'll decide to just take the information today and actually activate on it. That's what I hope you'll do, my friend. But certainly don't be speaking that over yourself, my friend. So Merle says, I haven't seen that movie yet. Dude, I just saw it yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. Totally worth seeing, in my humble opinion. Let's see. Why up and do your own research and come to your senses? I think you mean why not do your own research and come to your senses? Do you believe this? James says. So yeah, always do your own research. In fact, you can read the disclaimer down below. Literally says, do your own research. Even if you buy my book, do your own research. Okay. Research in my book, then go look all this stuff up, make your own connections to things. That's the path of the self-initiate. Okay. You don't read a book, you don't take a class, you don't do any of that and get initiated. You do it yourself. The path of the self-initiate is what Jesus followed. It's what I teach. It's what I follow. And it is the life of learning for the true seeker of truth. And that is, to me, the only way to go, my friends. So let me get the rest of your question here. Do you believe this? This is the way for him. Okay. Do you believe this? This is a way for him to make money. How come you don't believe in the Quran, Muhammad? Split the moon in half with 11 witnesses, resurrections, blah, blah, blah. Because that's all religion, dude. I literally don't even care. I don't care about religion. I respect your religion, but I'm not going to get into that. I know the Bible. I know Christianity. I know Gnosticism. That's what I teach. It's the thing that makes sense to me and all of the symbolism that makes sense to me. And within that, you have Babylonian, Egyptian, Akkadian, Greek symbolism. Obviously, our modern Roman symbolism. We have Roman numerals. We have our planets. We have the days of the week. All the different things that we run in our modern Roman system. So you do you, boo. Go believe whatever you want. Read the Old Testament. Read the New Testament. Absolutely. That James says it's all nothing but garbage. Please throw it away in the Bible. Dude, you literally can think that. I have no issue with you thinking that. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. I will lose zero sleep over that. But I believe it. Okay. I believe it, and a lot of other people believe it. I don't just believe it, I practice it, because I don't care if it's literal. I don't care if it's historical. I care if it works as a system of spirituality. I care if it works as a system of understanding my reality. And that's really all any of this is good for, guys, is can you understand your reality by that system? Be it Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, whatever you choose to follow and believe, naturism, whatever that is. I prefer the Christian mysteries. That's what I teach, everything from Book of Enoch to the Bible, even the Bhagavad Gita and beyond, because I think it all ties together. A lot of the Eastern mysticism makes its way into my work. So I try to understand everything. One of the things I do not delve into is Islam, because I am not knowledgeable on it whatsoever, nor do I care to be. That is just not my upbringing or what I've been initiated into. So it is what it is. So much love to you, James. I wanted to take time to really deconstruct your comment there, though, because hateful as it may have been, or seemingly hateful, I think it's important to take that information and share with everyone so that we can all kind of maybe get a deeper understanding of what this looks like to make your own path. Okay. Because that's where like that type of comment comes from. You have anger or trauma at a certain system and you deem it not true. That doesn't matter, because it is true. They're all true in their mystical interpretations if you understand the nature of the soul, the transmigration of the soul, and the consciousness that all of this is talking about. So, Sandra, what is going on, my friend? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Cheng Du says, sorry to ask, is Lucifer and Satan different? Absolutely different. Completely different archetypes, completely different mythologies, completely different mechanisms within the biblical canon, as well as the Book of Enoch and beyond. We get into a lot of different things here on the show. So very, very different beings. Okay. And so we're going to get deep into what Lucifer is today. Lucifer is Venus, bright morning star. Lucifer is the light bearer, the shining one. Okay. And so when we tie that to Satan, that's because there was ignorance in the early church. And by early, I mean really the Romanization of that later on, and certain sermons or homilies that were given that tied Lucifer to Satan and just assumed that this has to be the bad guy. I even put in my book a great little line. Let me get to it. A great little line about, that we basically have to have a bad guy. We have to pick a bad guy from one of these, and that's human ignorance, right? We have to pick a bad guy. We have to say that it's either this or that. We have duality. And unfortunately, that's just not really how the world works. It's not how the mind works. So we are fallen into this state of duality. I'm more of a non-dualist. Jesus taught non-dualism through dualistic stories. If you realize what he was doing. So, is Jesus God? Jesus is God, and so are you, my friend. How do I feel about AI and its effect on ascension? I think that if you're ascending, AI is not going to make a difference at all in your ascension. If you are lost and ignorantly looking, you're going to use AI to make up your own paradigm of ignorance. I've watched a lot of people do that through doing this channel for many years and using AI to prepare copy and different things that I've done, to spell check and things like that. I've watched it try to come at me with its own ideas, most of which I push back against, unless it just gives me raw data that I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that. And then I rewrite it in my own understanding. AI doesn't get in my way. I use AI as an employee for me to do grunt work that I need done. And so, I highly recommend never go to AI like these people on TikTok do and talk to it and go, so if this is the nature of the mind, then what are we doing here? And blah, blah, blah. It's just going to feed you a bunch of psychosis, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And it's a lot more important for you to make up your own mind and actually be a self-initiate and get raw data and make up your own mind on what it means rather than asking a deified version of AI what it means to be a human. And I think that's just really, really important. I've seen a lot of people, including creators. There's a lot of creators, you can tell their channels are line readings from AI. And it really bothers me because I go on this channel and I can go live. I can flow without a script for 3 hours because it's all coming from here, my friends. Okay. Nothing in here is coming from AI. It's all coming from my heart. It's all coming from truth within. Doesn't mean it's not ignorant sometimes. Doesn't mean that I'm not wrong sometimes. But I promise you that it's real. I promise you that it's not fake. I promise you that it's not recycled. The things I use AI for is to find raw data. I always cross-reference and check that data, and then I rewrite things into my own words and my own understanding, and oftentimes have to fight AI to get it to say what I said. I've actually gotten into arguments with AI going, that is not what I asked you to say. Like, listen to what I'm saying and just rewrite it with a grammar correction. Quit like rewriting my thoughts. And so I end up, fighting back and forth with it. Yeah, it's exactly like they're being hypnotized. And essentially, I believe that is what's going on. When you use it that way, you're already on a very dangerous path because you're looking for something outside of yourself to validate what you already know in here. If you believe that you are the creator of your own universe, YO universe, then freaking act like it and quit asking AI to validate that for you. I act like it every day and I go out and create my reality and I don't care what AI says about it. But what I care about is I'm going to go and get results because I am creating my reality. I get paid to exist. I get paid to play. I get to do exactly what I love every day. And I get to enjoy the things in this world that I want to because this is all an experience. That's all it is an experience. And we better darn well create a better experience while we're here and stop slaving away with our time, our money, and our effort to things that have zero care for us. These nameless, faceless things that we think are comforting, we think offer us stability. Jesus reminded very clearly that the Father takes care of everything from the birds to the lilies of the field. How much more will he take care of you? And the amount of lack of faith right now is staggering, my friends. And I don't mean faith in a Christian God or a church construct. I mean faith in the one, the beingness of the entire universe that you are literally a part of, and you are actually the son of that God, that father, that mother energy that is permeating you with life and potentiality in every single moment. And I think that's the most beautiful thing that I've ever realized through this whole journey. So right is authentic. Yes. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Rose says Jesus Christ taught love and enlightenment and us to guide our soul. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Reiki Goddess says it's like they are distracted with what they know about energy and influencing others, which is scary. Yeah, absolutely. That is the most terrifying thing about all of this, I think, is they know that it takes one thought to reprogram. And when I say they, I mean the archons. I'm not talking about rich people. I'm not talking about anyone on this earth, okay? I'm talking about consciousness. They is an archonic consciousness, and that is essentially coming from our planets collectively, all in a balance and battle for your own mind and consciousness. What Jesus taught is how to unite with the Son, S-U-N, the Son of God, S-O-N, and have direct realization of the light of the world. When that self-illumination happens, you are not controlled by archons anymore. Satan or Saturn has no bearing over you because the ego has been buried and the spirit has raised to new life. And that's the esoteric path that he taught. That's exactly what I'm teaching in my new book. It's called Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom. The release date is scheduled right now for September 22nd. I will keep everyone posted on that. I've got massive discounts right now for anyone that wants to pre-order. You can go check that out on my website at mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. If you're watching over here on this camera, you guys can see the book cover, the title, and then scan that QR code. All you got to do is pull out your phone, scan it over here. If you're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, X, any of those platforms, the podcast, you're watching on the physical podcast later on Apple or Spotify. All you got to do is scan that QR code or take a screenshot and then long hold the QR code and it'll open the website for you there. It's super easy to do. If you're over here on TikTok, just go to my bio and click the link in my bio. You can pre-order the book itself, the ebook. You can just join the community while you're waiting, or you can get the bundle right now at over 50% off. It's an incredible, incredible deal. The bundle includes the ebook, the audiobook, the courses, the academy, the calls, the community, the book, everything, guys. It's an incredible package. So go check that out, mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. That's how I'm able to continue doing this podcast. And all the information I'm talking about today is literally coming out of that book because that book came out of here. So, okay, let me get into the next part of this. Modern perception of Venus. Astronomically, Venus is the brightest planet visible to the human eye. And this is very important. The scientific understanding is very important to the esoteric understanding. So Venus is the brightest planet visible to the human eye. It appears brightly at sunrise and at sunset. It is wrapped in a dense atmosphere that reflects sunlight with dazzling brilliance. And so if you see it on the horizon before the sun rises, you'll often see it like several hours before the sun rises. And it's like this bright, huge ball in the sky. I mean, there are nights I've gone out and I thought it was the moon. It was that bright. And that's why it's called the bright morning star. If you're an archaic people and you're living on the plains or you're living up in the mountains and you see that fiery ball in the sky that just sits there and like silver in the sky shimmers with this beautiful brilliance, that's that atmosphere that is literally taking this light and then dispersing it like this crystalline structure. It's amazing how it shines back. This is not like the moon where it just has white dust on it reflecting back. This is actually an atmosphere that is dispersing the light back and almost magnifying it in a prismatic way. And it's absolutely beautiful. It is wrapped in a dense atmosphere that reflects sunlight with dazzling brilliance. Yet beneath the veil lies a furnace of crushing heat and pressure. This duality of outward brilliance and inward chaos mirrors the mystical archetype of Venus, the light bearer whose beauty conceals a consuming fire within. Very similar to Jesus, by the way. He was very meek and humble. He served everyone, but he had this passionate fire within because he knew he was God. He knew he was one with God, right? And that was an amazing, beautiful thing. Samuel says, I was into that BS esoteric nonsense. Then Jesus Christ revealed the false light of Satan. That wasn't Jesus Christ that revealed that to you. That was your own fear, my friend. I've been there myself. They tried to put me back to sleep, send me back to church, put me back in the pew, put me back in the construct. But my mind finally pulled me out and said, no, 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 no. We didn't bring you this far so that you could fall back asleep, okay? It's not comfortable to be awake, my friend, but it is the path that Jesus taught. And it is not Jesus Christ that revealed that to you, this false light of Satan, as you call it. Esotericism is the initiate's path. It is the secret meaning beyond all things that is in our world and beyond our world. It is the way to know God in and through all things. It is the path of a mystic, and it is the path that Jesus taught you himself. He never asked to be worshiped, and he never told you that he came to die for your sins. What he told you is that you are a part of God if you're a part of him, and he told you that you are going to be in the kingdom because it's already within you, my friend. That's what he taught. So you don't have to ask me, by the way. Open up the Bible and actually read it. So Nikki Pope says, had a near-death experience and experienced the false light. It was Jesus, but had no life in its eyes. Very interesting. Again, that's within you, Nikki, okay? That's because you haven't put power into Christ within you. You know this Christ that you've been told about, but you haven't filled that Christ within with the power that it wants to have, okay? That's what false light is, my friends, because within me, when I've had this relationship with Jesus in my life, but he had no power, is because I was not giving him any power, because that Christ is already within us. And if we give it power and we understand that it literally has the power to unlock our heart and our mind and put us in the kingdom of heaven right now, that is another level of understanding, my friends. And you will not hear that in church. You will not hear that in any biblical discussion that you can join. You will only hear that in esoteric circles. And 99% of the people that I've heard talk about that don't actually practice giving Christ the power, that higher-minded Christ consciousness to put life into the eyes of Christ and realize that it is the one being of the universe, and that one being is you, my friend. It is you. Samuel says, be careful, this guy is deceived. See ya. Samuel, have a beautiful day, my friend. Beautiful day. You telling me I'm deceived only shows your own fear, by the way. People that call out others as being deceived have not found truth themselves. Okay. I quit calling out other people as deceitful when I stopped deceiving myself. Let me say that again. I stopped calling out other people as deceitful when I stopped deceiving myself. When you start telling yourself the truth and you start awakening to who you really are, you realize everything else around you is merely a reflection. And the only way to correct that is to correct yourself. Reiki Goddess is correct. Exactly, my friend. You've got to become the Christ. Live as Christ, Merle says. Amen, my friend. Jesus said, not everybody who calls me Lord, Lord will be saved. Only those who do the will of my Father. That's not what we're taught in church, right? So everything is a mirror. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. So across civilizations, we've done that. We've done modern perception. Let's talk about the planet Venus as an archetype. Because I want to get into why Christ, Jesus, and Lucifer or bright and morning star are essentially the same archetype. There's a very deep esoteric meaning to this that when you get it will really unlock a whole nother level for you. The planet Venus versus archetype. Venus is the paradox of heaven, the morning star, and the evening star, rising in brilliance yet vanishing into the sun's blaze. To the mystic, this cycle became the image of prideful ascent and inevitable fall, yet also the promise of renewal, for after it disappears, it returns again as a herald. Lucifer and Christ both bear the same title, the morning star. How thou art fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. Think consciousness, okay? The light of consciousness is fallen from heaven. How art thou have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Isaiah 14:12. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. Revelation 22. One seeks to outshine the sun. Okay, that's that morning star talked about in Isaiah. The other morning star talked about in Revelation 22. Again, I believe one and the same. One seeks to outshine the sun. The other perfectly reflects it as the sun. Okay, the other perfectly reflects it as the sun. This paradox reveals the archetype's dual potential: distortion through pride or illumination through union with the divine source. Okay, so that is how right there that Christ Jesus can be both savior of the world and Lucifer. Okay, he had the potential to be both, right? If you realize that when he was tested by Satan, he had the opportunity to follow the ego, Satan, the flesh, Hasatan, the accuser, Saturn 666, Satan. Okay, he had the opportunity to follow Satan into ego. Rather, he chose ego death and spiritual ascension and said, no, I will not call down the forces of heaven to manipulate them for my own gain, but rather I will resist you so that you flee, and then I will be taken care of. Everything I need will be taken care of. In fact, after that, the angels minister to him, and all of his needs are taken care of. And I've seen that in my own life when I let my ego go and I love and forgive others and I let go and I know what I want, but I let it go to the universe. And I trust that however that comes in is the truth. That's when magic happens in my life, my friends. Nikki Pope, duality. Exactly. Sir Keith says the religious leaders is the one who hung Jesus up on the cross. Absolutely. I think that's very clear from the text. Absolutely. Emmy says, hello. Hello, Emmy. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Andrew says, hi, the great I am. Absolutely, Andrew. Humans don't belong in boxes. Amen. Absolutely not at all. Okay, says, hey, tell me when you least watch Prometheus now. I have not watched Prometheus. I don't have it on any of the channels I have right now, but it is on that long list of things that I'm supposed to watch. So, by the way, I don't like when people tell me I have to watch something, I normally don't watch it, but I'll put it in the back of my mind. And when the universe presents it to me and it's available in front of me, I know I'm ready for it and I'll watch it. So I very rarely, unless my wife tells me to do something and then I'm bound contractually to go do that. But I really just wait, again, literally practicing this, like what I'm telling you here. There's a lot of people that tell me I need to watch stuff, but I know when I need to watch it because it will present it to me. I'll see it and go, oh, so-and-so said to watch that. And then I will watch it. Okay. So I appreciate the reminder. When I see it, I will watch it. But I really don't go looking for things, and I don't watch a lot of TV, honestly. So I just kind of watch what's like presented in front of me. So Merle says it's a good one. Absolutely. Am says ego. Yeah, we're talking about the ego right now. And it might be ego for me to do that, but it's just me trusting the universe rather than, my ego doesn't like being told. Sure. Okay. I'm glad that you know a lot about me. It's always the people with a one, like two letters as a name, right? The ones that come in as ghosts that seem to know everything about you. Here's the deal. Yeah, you know ego because you are ego, my friend. You know ego because you are ego. That's what I'm saying. It's just a reflection. If you're going to accuse me of ego, I can guarantee you that you have ego. I mean, I've seen that in a million different people. Okay. I'm not saying that I don't have ego, that I don't have like a dislike of being told what to do. I'm not saying that. But by the way, when you realize you're sovereign, you will have a healthy dislike of being told what to do. That's what sovereignty is. Okay. Nobody told Jesus what to do. He did exactly what he saw the Father doing. That's what I try to model my life after. If you want to consider it ego, that says more about you than me. I consider it letting the universe decide when I'm ready. Reiki Goddess says so true. So much love, my friend, but I'm sorry. I'm going to call you out. I'm in that season of my life where I don't give a crap, by the way. I'm in that season of my life where I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell it like it is. I believe what I believe. I share what I'm willing to share. And you can make whatever judgment you want about me. And that is awesome because at least you're talking about me. So your ego's reacting, Am says. So I feel it. Oh, you feel it. Okay, good. You're a special one, aren't you, my friend? Aren't you? Tell you what, why don't you go find another podcast? Be gone, long one. Be gone. James says it's when we truly surrender. That's exactly what I'm talking about, James. When you let go, you get the things that you need. That's how I found the Sphere recently. I wasn't looking for it. It's nobody told me, Cub, you have to go watch the Sphere. Again, whenever people tell me that, I don't do it. Like you shouldn't, by the way. If people tell you to do something, you shouldn't be doing it. You should do what you are sovereignly led to do by the Most High, that to me is the true path of an initiate. Okay. You don't get bullied around or pushed around by anyone. I was bullied growing up all the time. People always telling me what to do, kicking me around, trying to fight me on the playground. Then I ended up getting homeschooled. Can I hold my own? Absolutely. Okay. I'm a big guy, but I do not like to fight. I do not like to be confrontational with people. I like peace and love. Okay. I've always been a mystical, loving, peaceful guy. And when people try to push me outside of that, it's very frustrating. So, it is what it is. But let go of my ego, Johnny Black says. Exactly. So, okay, says I'll ask again in 3 years. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. So, y'all need to get some real names, by the way. Okay needs a new name. Am needs a new name. You guys see, I got nothing to hide. I got my full legal name and my nickname on my profile. Okay. There is no reason to believe you're not just an AI bot. So I'm just going to be really honest. Get yourself a profile picture and get yourself an actual name. Okay. And actually interact with creators. Okay. Don't come in and troll and try to act like God or whatever. That's ego when you come in and start acting like God. And so that's exactly what we're talking about today, is this balance between, you have the mysteries of the universe in you, you have the creator of the universe in you, but you also use it to help other people first. And that's what I'm really, really trying to do with this channel. So, absolutely. Your old circle, as you level up, most can't come. Everyone is on a different timeline. That's exactly right. As I've leveled up here, a lot in the circle that I had from my old community had to go. And what it did is it exposed a lot of ego, exposed a lot of, Hasatan energy. It exposed a lot of people that really were not on the same wavelength as what I'm doing, and not willing to go through the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows, right? There's a lot of people out there that just want pure validation. We all do at a certain point, right? But I think it's very important to, always make sure you're in the right circle. Always, always. Reiki goddess says light worker. Exactly. Exactly. So, I'm going to ban you if you don't change your name and start being nice. You can interact here authentically, or you can leave. Like, seriously, because you're literally just a reflection of ego right now. So, James says it's the forgiveness of others and oneself. For me, it's the forgiveness of myself. Yeah, dude, that's one of the hardest things to do, right? Like, forgive yourself of all of the things that not what you do, right? That's very, very important. So, let me see. Jason says Lucifer isn't the devil. Yes, exactly. No. Lucifer is not the devil. Do you think Lucifer is incarnate right now and has been there? There's good evidence to show incarnate Lucifer was Elvis. Guys, come on. No. That you guys are going way too literal with this stuff. Okay, when you start thinking that there's an incarnation of these beings, they're incarnate everywhere. By the way, they're incarnate in you. You're Lucifer, you're Jesus Christ, you're Hasatan or Saturn. Okay, all of these archetypes manifest within you, within your own consciousness. And anyone that you experience outside of yourself in your own consciousness that you believe is the incarnation of that is literally a creation of your mind about that person. And that's how we can all be playing this quantum video game together, yet everyone is on their own timeline. And very few times do you end up with other co-op players that you can play with, because everybody has their own ideas about things. The descent was brutal. That descent was brutal, but you came up with the light you fought for. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. And here's the deal. I'm not worried about brutal descents. I think other people judge them more harshly than I do. People were like, "Oh, Cub, you lost your mind. You're going crazy, Cub." Well, whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't care. You think whatever you want about me, but I promise you, everything I go through, good, bad, and ugly, is teaching me something that will benefit this world, because it's benefiting me. Okay. And I think people are way, way too careful about what they think is normal, rather than understanding life is a effing mess. Okay. You're born in water and blood. You die in water and blood. You are recycling consciousness through these flesh bots. This ain't pretty, okay? It's beautiful, but it ain't pretty. And I think that people need to like take time to go, wait a minute. If there's a person that has publicly had struggle with their faith, their spirituality, and their understanding, and they are still teaching online, that's someone that you need to pay attention to. That's someone who gives a shit to find the truth. Pardon my language today, but it is very, very important for me to be 100% authentic. And I'm done censoring myself. I'm done censoring myself for the platforms. I'm done censoring myself for some self-righteous feeling of, oh, Cub, don't cuss or whatever. I don't want to be a potty mouth, but I certainly, when I feel it, I'm going to say it. And that's just where I'm at in life now. Merle says, I'll gladly be crazy, LOL. Exactly, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. We need more people like that. We need more people like that. Let's see. Through the center of the box times pi, all calculations through triangulation within the imagination. That sounds interesting. That's over my head. That sounds like math. So you have all that you want. Let's see. Other questions, comments, prayer concerns before I continue reading. Raise your hand, by the way, if you're a real person in the chat right now, because we've got a bunch of bots today. Okay. And they may not be actual AI bots, but they're consciousness bots. They're people that they're either brainwashed themselves into a state of psychosis or they brainwash themselves into a state of ignorance. And there's a lot of those going on. And I know there's bot farms out there because I've seen them. Okay. They got all these cell phones plugged in together and they just sending things out and they're basing it on what people's content is about. They'll actually farm all your content and then go and watch and jump on lives like this and just try to communicate. Half the time you can go to their accounts and find out there's like no content. They're like created yesterday. And it's just a bunch of malarkey. And that's why I can delete them or block them and then they pop back up. It's insane. It's insane. Johnny says, it seems to me that consciousness is a ramification of genetic modification. We are unplugged because we are not natural creations. That's why we have free will, and that creates the dichotomy inside of the dark and light, good and evil. Sounds logical to me. Paranoid about bots? Much? What happened? Well, why are you logging on to that? See, I think OK is a bot too. I think Am is a bot. KJ99 is not a bot. Real profile picture, real person. You can go check these people out. What's up, Kenny? Kenny's a real person. I've seen Kenny. It's like you got to get to know people on here. Quit being afraid, quit hiding behind names. And the reason I'm paranoid about it is because it's taking over the internet. And it's taking over your streets, your neighborhoods, your homes. Okay, there's a lot of bot consciousness out there right now. And with the advent of AI, it is getting harder and harder and harder to tell. Okay. I know people that are my parents' age that have zero idea when it's a fake video. I have prided myself historically on being able to tell, but it's gotten a lot harder. And that's why you got to audit all your information now. It's so important, whether it's me or someone else. That's part of why I go live every day. I'm going to prove to everyone I'm real. I post multiple videos every day with my face on it, with my name, with everything out there, guys. Like, I haven't hidden anything with it. And that's where I get really, really frustrated with the bots, is because we're living in this world now where it is just getting harder and harder to even be a creator. And so that is, for myself and other creators, I think it's important to not support these other bots. Don't give them the time of day. Don't interact with them. Shut them down, block them, whatever you got to do, and interact with real creators with verified profiles like mine. I'm not saying you have to go like mine all the time. Just saying, find other real creators who are willing to invest in what they're doing and not just troll on people. Does that make sense? KJ99 says, I've become a bot hunter on here. Thank you, my friend. We need more. We need more people like you. Tease says, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, my friend. So yeah, very, very important. Be real. Be real. Be real. Okay. Lucifer and Christ. Both bear the same title, Morning Star. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? In Isaiah, we talked about that. This paradox, and then Revelation 22:16 is, I am the root of David, the bright and morning star. One seeks to outshine the sun, the other perfectly reflects it as the sun. This paradox reveals the archetype's dual potential, distortion through pride or illumination through union with the divine source. Let me say this clearly. I do not believe these are two different entities, okay? I believe that this is the same archetype being shown exactly what it looks like with the ascended mind of Christ versus the flesh. Yeah, ego versus mind, or higher self, whatever you want to call it. A lot of different psychological terms for it. So that's Lucifer and Christ. Another interesting tidbit about Venus is the pentagram of Venus. So every 8 years, every 8 Earth years, Venus draws a near perfect pentagram in the heavens through its conjunctions with the sun. This sacred geometry, long tied to the beauty and harmony, reveals the double edge of its power. Upright, it signifies divine proportion, and inverted, it signifies rebellion. And that's exactly what the pentagram stands for. Matter and spirit. So when it's upright with the top point of the star pointed up, it is spirit over matter. When you invert it, that's satanic magic or Saturn magic, where you're valuing matter over spirit. You're using the energy of Saturn or Satan to manipulate the world, and you're willing to sell your soul to Satan. But that's what Jesus rejected, right? He said, no, I don't need to command angels to come down through you. I just need to resist you and trust spirit to provide everything I need. And that is the principle of mind over matter. Okay. You've probably heard mind over matter. That's literally what Jesus was teaching, I believe. Konashi says, can't stay because I have errands to run, but I'm glad to see you're still at it, Cub. Dude, absolutely. Absolutely. And my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, my friend. So that is the pentagram of Venus. That's very, very important to understanding kind of the hidden meanings in it. It is about the balance, and it is literally drawing in the stars the sacred geometry of the pentagram, showing us that, hey, this is all tied to this balance of spirit over matter. And that's why I believe that planet has that duality of either being prideful or being the awakened true path, right? The Son of God, just like Jesus. So the inner teacher of meekness. Esoterically, Lucifer is not a being outside of us, but a principle within the soul's capacity to bear light. When aligned with the higher mind, it is revelation. When claimed for ego, it becomes delusion. So, sorry guys, my dogs are freaking out because my wife's home. When aligned with the higher mind, it is revelation. When claimed for ego, it becomes delusion. Lucifer is not an adversary, but an initiator. The seeker must confront the temptation of false light and learn humility, or else remain bound in self-glory. By passing this trial, the soul discerns true radiance from illusion, pride from wisdom. Thus, Lucifer becomes a paradox. Jesus, the self-realized and perfect Son of God, bore witness to the light of God. Yet when he was tempted by Satan or Saturn, he passed the test of resisting the use of his power for ego and self-service. So that's a very important dichotomy when we understand the true esoteric meaning of that. So Reiki Goddess says, oh yes, thank you, my friend. Let's see. Manny Fresh, welcome. How are you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. And Am, thanks for the gifts, by the way. If you're going to troll on me, at least you're going to tip me. So that's good. Leave the money on the dresser, dude. I think that's great. Thank you, my friend. Stu says consciousness is eternal. If the universal created consciousness, then it always existed in essence. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Beautiful understanding. Let me jump over here. I need to look at Facebook and YouTube and all the other stuff. So, other questions over here, comments, Tony replying, lots of long stuff. You guys are having some crazy wild conversations over here. Good for y'all. Thank you guys Appreciate it. All of the engagement helps the channel. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. So let's get deep into this now. Kind of a note on this. I call these wisdom notes in the book. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Isaiah 14:12, King James Version. The term translated as Lucifer comes from the Vulgate or Latin Bible and literally means light bearer. Lux is light, fere is to carry. In Hebrew, it is Helel, Helel, or Helel ben Shar. Shining one, son of the dawn is what that means. While originally a poetic metaphor for the king of Babylon, the imaginary became inseparably tied to the planet Venus, the radiant morning star. It's in its esoteric understanding, Lucifer is not Satan, nor should be confused with Satan, but rather the archetype of pride, the brilliance that binds itself when it forgets its source. Okay, and I've got a beautiful picture of a coin with Venus on it and the morning star on her crown. Beautiful, beautiful artwork in the book. I created all the artwork on this as well. Hillel, bright morning star, and I'll read about the artwork here. This piece portrays Venus as Lucifer, the radiant morning star. She rises at dawn in proud brilliance, dispersing her light across the heavens as a herald of the coming day. Yet with evening's fall, her glow turns mournful. For the light she carried yields to the darkness of night. Venus stands as a witness to the eternal cycle, bold in her shining, yet humbled in knowing that her brilliance is not her own, but drawn from the true light beyond. Think esoterically here, guys. She was never meant to be tied to Satan, for Lucifer is not an enemy, but an initiator, the one who tests the soul of every true seeker. In her paradox, she challenges as Christ himself was challenged. Will the initiate use the light for pride and self-glory, or surrender it in humility to the source? In this way, Venus becomes the archetype of our own path, illumination and shadow, fall and renewal. Forever the bright and morning star. Just as the morning star vanishes when the sun rises, so did Jesus vanish from the earth as the illuminated consciousness ascended, dwelling not in one body of flesh, but within all who follow the inner path of true illumination. Though he disappeared for a little while, he rose to new life and greater illumination than before. So I've had to jump around the book a little bit today. And then this is later in the section on planets in the book. So when I do these live streams, I have to jump around. But I hope you'll join me in sharing this book. And I'm about to be dropping here in just a few days some actual excerpts from the book for anyone that buys the bundle in there. So you guys can start reading along with me. It's going to be really, really cool now that I have all the formatting done and everything. So Steve says, is the light the flame of vibration, all considered the same thing, or do they have different feelings behind them? I think they have different feelings behind them, my friend. To me, the flame is a burning knowing and desire and passion within you that is focused on the truth and knowing that you're eternal. The vibration is when you're raising that frequency, because you can have that eternal burning flame and use it for pride, just like Lucifer here, or you can have the eternal burning flame in you and use it for glory, the glory of God, or the glory of spirit, whatever you want to call it. And that's a different feeling because that's a higher vibration. That turns you to serve and love your neighbor as yourself. That turns you to help others, to heal others. That turns you into this authentic expression of the divine, rather than a lot of these ego-filled people that are out there going, you are gods and stuff like that, right? And I've been there too. I've had the same thing, and that was part of the pattern I just went through, is like another ego death. Like, okay, I'd learned all this stuff, kind of built myself up to a certain point. I had to watch myself fall down again, be humbled again, realize the truth again, get back off of the comfort train and back onto the truth train. And that really helped, and so those cycles that I get to go through, by the way, it probably won't be the last one. Spoiler alert. That is the mark of a true seeker, a true wayfinder, somebody who's actually cares about the process and wants to not only be right but be real. There's a lot of people that want to be right and they'll argue that they are, and I've done it too. But for me, the mission to be real and really find the real knowledge and the real wisdom. That's why the new book is Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom. This is not a book of knowledge that I'm like, I know, and this is the truth. It is a book of universal signs and symbols. It's literally subtitled Lost Symbolism of Heaven Within. So this is all about the esoteric expression. This is all information that you can take and make it your own. This is all information that you can use to see clearly the world around you and all the different hidden things in the world around you. And so that's why I'm writing this book the way that I am, not as some expression of my knowledge, but as an expression of wisdom, universal wisdom that I've gained through a lot of suffering, through a lot of sacrifice, through a lot of learning and forgiving and growing, and things that I know to be universally true, because it doesn't matter what path I choose after this. This is all information that is. It just is, because it's wisdom. It's not some scientific information or some specific pattern that has to be followed. It's just, this is like this. Just like Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is like ... So he's never caught in a lie that way. He was never like bound to, well, that's not what the kingdom is. It's like a mustard seed, and it grows up and harbors the birds of the air. It's like a man who bought a field. It's like, and so he gave all these different archetypes, parables, and stories about it. And that's what my attempt is with this book, is to really have a framework that is an esoteric parable-based framework, just like you heard today, that you can go through, learn the little tidbits that are going to help unlock another level for you. You can find it all at mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. That's mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. Truth Train for confirmation. Scan that QR code. You can get the pre-launch deal right now. My new book and the full program as a bundle if you want that. I am going to discontinue that pretty soon because I've already sold a bunch of those. And I kind of have a certain amount that I wanted to offer at that 50% off, with a free book, with a free year to the community, for an incredible price. I can't even say the price on the live right now. So you can go check the regular price, see the 50% off, grab that bundle. The book's scheduled release right now is on September 22nd. I'll keep you guys posted as we get closer. Followed by the release of the audiobook, the ebook, the courses, the meditation, everything else that's coming out around this, an entire new ecosystem. Mysteries of Ancient Wisdom, guys. This is what I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it took me falling on my face one more time to really find the humbleness and find the truth and dig deep enough to go, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, this is where God wants me. Okay, this is what my life's work has been about. And this will be volume 1. I'm sure there'll be other volumes, but this is going to be a great, great place for you guys that love the channel, that love what I'm talking about, to go ahead and jump in and start working through all the things that I'm teaching here. So go check that out, mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. There it is. I'll move that so you can see my pretty face again. Thank you guys so much for being here. You can click the link down in the bio or in the description, or just go to my profile, or just tell Siri to go to mysteriesofancientwisdom.com, and you'll see my awesome website there with that book cover on it. So go check it out. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the support of the channel. Thanks for the tips and gifts today. Thanks for the challenges with the ego today. Thanks to all the bots that gave a lot of interaction, in the comments, or at least bot consciousness. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. So, and I hope you enjoyed that section on Lucifer. We're going to get into Thoth, Hermes, Enoch, and some really cool archetypes with the planets tomorrow. So don't miss it. What's up, Bradley? How are you, brother? Don't miss it, and don't miss the pre-order on the book, guys. This is an expensive book, by the way. This book is priced well over what other books are priced because of the information in it, because of the nature of the book. So this isn't something you'll go to like your bookstore and see just, oh, it's a hardcover, so it's worth, X amount. This is a very specific book, and I'm charging a premium for it. So if you want the bundle at a huge discount, get that now. The bundle discount as it is now will be over on the 22nd, but I'm actually going to discontinue the one that's on there now in its current form and replace it with a different bundle here in like the next day or two, because I've already sold a bunch of them. So go check that out. www.mysteriesofancientwisdom.com. It's the best way that we can get deeper into this stuff, guys. And it is literally my love offering to every single one of you that has stuck with me from the beginning. Ask me over and over and over different questions. This is my attempt to answer all of those questions, not only for you, but for me. I write the book in the tone that I'm teaching myself all of this, because that's really why I'm writing the book, right? To learn. And it's a beautiful thing that I get to make a living with this, that I get to share with you guys, that I get to build something substantial with this. So thank you guys. Y'all have an awesome day. God bless you. Namaste. And as we always say, peace. I'll see you guys tomorrow.